I knew I hit go live, and yet I was reading my messages and forgot that I'm live, like an idiot. Anyway. Okay. I look about crazy. I do not look like I'm ready for this, do I? That's okay. Share the link. Okay. I've got so much stuff I'm trying to do. Okay. All right. Hitting things. Knocking stuff over. Good morning, Taylor. Hello, Alex. Even though you're incognito. Sabrina! Hello, Sabrina. You're struggling with one of the backstories. Oh, no. There you are, Alex. Ugh. What are you struggling with on the backstory? Hello, Sarah. How was the Unf Your Story yesterday? I'm sorry. For the past couple of weeks, y'all keep tagging me on Unf Your Story, and I can't go. Because it's right at the time that I am picking Christopher up from school. Like, I want to go. It's just not a good time for me. Hello, Missy. You're a new follower. You're super cute. Why, thank you so much, and thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. We figured out that voice chat works better, and everyone can hear and chat. Oh, over the video chat? The voice works better? Nice. Good morning, Jessica. Taylor, don't hate me, but I don't see your comment. It says, explaining that with the character limit was hard. Did you post it? No. Okay. Are you mad at me or YouTube? I'm guessing YouTube. It didn't come through. Nice hair. Thank you. YouTube. Yeah, I thought so. It was the first stream I've been up early enough to watch. Yay! Hi! I haven't been doing sprints, Alex and Missy. Well, you never have to apologize for that. Not that I should be speaking for Alex or Missy, because they are perfectly capable of speaking for themselves, and who the hell am I to say anything? However, you don't have to apologize for that. He was raised in a matriarchal society, but influenced by men in that society who want men in power, and I want it to be something he deconstructs. Okay. Okay, so the first thing you got to figure out is, what kind of influence are we talking about? So the men in his society, what kind of influence? Is it like a small, semi-unknown rebellion, like just getting started? Is it a rebellion that started a while ago but got crushed? And so now they're like regrouping and they're like trying to take a more strategic approach to it. What made them decide that they wanted to flip from matriarchy to patriarchy? Because that's kind of a weird flip too. That's not a I guess it all depends on what's happening in your world, but it's not typically I was going to say natural, but I can't think of another word, but natural's not the right word either, but it's not typically a flip that happens. Like if they are an oppressed group, the oppressees, the group that is oppressed usually fights for equality, not takeover. You know what I mean? Good morning, Tweaker. Good morning, Alexandria. So those are a few of the things that you'll need to know first, Taylor. Rather than going after his backstory specifically, try to dig into a little bit more of your society, why it's set up the way it's set up, how it got that way, and what this group of men is after. YH, we can keep up. Hi. What level do I need to reach in the Discord to post PDF files? I could use feedback in my character profiles. Well, that's a good question, because I don't remember. I want to say it was like, I don't know. Hang on. Settings. Let's see. Oh, that's why. Oh. Okay. Okay. I figured out the video thing, Alex. Sorry. Attach files, but it doesn't tell me. Oops, I don't want to turn it off. Yeah, I don't know. I have to figure that out. What am I using? There's Arcane and there's Bot Ghost. So, where do I find Arcane? Where's my list? Where's my list of stuff? Where do I find your settings? No, that's how I upgrade. I don't know. I don't know. Just keep talking. His mother is the leader of the vampires. The men on her council have guided him while she did leader stuff, and they view her empathy as weak. That's the route you want to go. Okay, so typically with that, it's usually because the leader before that person did not have whatever that trait was. And so when it's abnormal to view something as weak just for the sake of saying it's weak. Like there's got to be some kind of a reason. So because that's where all the conflict comes in. So chances are the leader, whoever the leader was before the mother, they did not have empathy. They have to show why that made that leader strong, or you have to show rather why that made that leader strong, why that gave them pause to say it's his lack of empathy that makes him strong. What did he do that he could have done because of that lack of empathy? And then you have to show what they see that makes that weak. So they must see some action of hers that made them vulnerable, or whatever it was, and that someone else wouldn't have done. But you got to show the danger. Like, even if it's just through a fallacy, you know how kid goes running down the sidewalk, right? And you see a car coming and the kid stops at the end of the street, but for that brief minute, you don't think they're going to, and you get scared and you're like, you could have gotten hurt. And they're like, but I didn't, right? Like, even if it didn't happen, you still got to show that there was a full-blown belief that it really could have, and it's just a matter of time. So there's got to be something other than just, well, we don't like her because she's empathetic. You know what I mean? Like, dig into that part. May need to plot it out more. For my favorite Italian restaurants open for the day. How do I stay motivated with writing? The way my brain works, I'm super obsessed with writing for a bit and then don't write at all for a few months. Hello, Dale. All right. So for the most part with writing, during the times that you're super motivated, like, go all in, right? I mean, you probably already know that, but go all in, get as much done as you can. And then as you near the end of that writing session, think about, like, use the last few minutes, the last 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is that you have, use that to set up the next time you're going to feel motivated. So you might end in the middle of a scene and then take out a piece of paper and write down what your thoughts were for the next scene, or what you need for whatever, right? Whatever research you might need, things like that. And then for me, I tend to surround myself basically with reminders of what it is I'm writing. So like right now I'm writing the science fiction novel that I'm writing has to deal with time travel. So I'm watching a lot of Doctor Who. I'm watching, or rather rewatching, all of these. The Star Trek episodes, like, Star Trek 4, like all of the ones that have something to do with time travel. I already binged Enterprise again. But like everything having to do with time travel, like I'm rewatching, I'm re-binging, things like that. What ends up happening a lot of times is I will be watching something and I'll be like, "Oh, that reminds me I should be working on my novel." And then I'll get all inspired and I'll go to it. So, a lot of times that works. And if you're just not motivated because you're not feeling like writing, let's say you don't feel really well or whatever, then taking those last few minutes from the session before and setting yourself up to make it easier to get started makes it easier to get started. It's kind of like when I finish washing the last load of laundry that I'm going to wash for the day, but I'll still load up the washer so that the next time I want to go do laundry, it's already in there. All I got to do is flip the button. It makes it a whole lot easier on me to get going the next time when I'm just like, I don't want to do laundry. You have ADHD. Is it executive dysfunction? You can bribe your brain. Bribing does not work for me. For the words works really well. My brain just works like that with everything. The writing sprints were getting me to write a lot more, but I'm not motivated to do them really right now. Just subscribed. Thank you and welcome. Hello, Ayat. Also, changing my writing environment helps sometimes too. I will go to a coffee shop or the library. New question. How accurate should I be when writing certain things, i.e., medical scenes? I have an MMC who's a pre-med wide receiver. He wants to be a sports medicine doctor. Hello, doggy ducky. How accurate do you need to be while writing? I am a big fan of just write. Write was in your head. Write the words you have, get them on the paper, just download it and go. That's if you spend too much time researching for accuracy's sake, if I spend too much time researching for accuracy's sake, it's just not going to get done. I'm either going to fall down a rabbit hole of research and I'll be stuck there for days and then I won't have anything done. Or I'm going to convince myself through the research that I don't know enough to write what it is that I'm trying to write. Or I'm going to talk myself right out of the story because through my research, I'm going to realize what a dumb idea this story is. Because hindsight makes all of your ideas sound dumb. So for the writing, I just write. I just get it down. I do just enough research to get me going. Like, what is this called? A wide receiver? Okay. Make sure I got the right game because I don't watch sports. I don't know what's what. So if I were going to do sports, I'd be like, okay. And I write the story and I use fillers as needed, or I'll leave myself little notes as needed. I'll write what I want them to do. He ran down the field. I don't know if that position runs down the field or not. I have no idea. So I'm going to leave a little note saying, does he do that? And then later on when I'm editing, after the story is down and I'm in editing, I'm going to see that note and I'm going to go and I'm going to look it up and I'm going to find a position that runs down the field. And I'm going to make whatever changes I can make to make that work. Or he's not going to run down the field anymore. But I'm going to write the story, what I need to happen in a way that I need it to happen. And then I'm going to fill in the blanks after. As a graphics designer, working with writers, some of them don't know what they want. I know, David, I get it. Very true. Some of us don't. I, unfortunately, am one of those. I never know how to describe what I want. Feel free to reach out to me. Yeah, all writers need an RN friend, a doctor friend, a lawyer friend. I pop quiz all my friends all the time. I have one of my best friends. We've been friends now for almost 20 years. And I don't even say hi because I forget, but I will just message her and I'll be like, so if this happens and this happens and this happens, what would make this happen? And thank God, like, she knows who I am. Obviously, we're best friends. But like, she just laughs and she'll just send me the answer and then she'll laugh and she'll be like, good morning, by the way. And I'm like, oh yeah, hi. Sorry. Sometimes I also have to be mean to myself. Don't recommend. Yeah, don't put whiteboards up with my plot and book info that I have walk by. I do need a lot of sports. You read a lot of sports romance. What's up? I'm home alone. How old are you? I need a lawyer friend as another character from the same story as pre-law. Pre-law and pre-med, and they have... I don't see how that is going to work. I don't know enough about pre-colleges programs. I don't know. 12. Okay. I don't know enough about the pre-programs in colleges. From what I gather, everyone I know who is a lawyer or is a doctor and therefore went through pre-med and or pre-law didn't have time for jack else. Like, their every waking hour was school, studies, or something along those lines. They didn't have time for sports. They didn't have time for, like, it was nothing. So I don't see, and they weren't exactly like in the same colleges. Like, so I don't see how they would ever, not that I have to see how your story interacts with each other. I don't know. Most writers give wrong choice for their graphics, and sometimes it turns out great. Like, how they do, how do they do that? I don't know. Someone asked me, so not speaking about this at all, but still kind of funny. So I'm sure you've heard all about all the AI coming up, unless you've been like living under an AI rock somewhere. But so AI is coming up, right? And I have heard in the web development community, the writing community, like big time, and the graphics artists slash, digital artists, book cover designers, etc. community, and they're all talking about it, right? And I saw this meme, and it's from the web developers community is where I saw it, but I know it applies across the board to everywhere else. And it said it was an avatar of the person, and they were like, kind of sitting back like this, like laying out in the sun or whatever, like on the beach. And it said something like, how can AI ever take our job? The clients have to be able to tell the AI what it wants, or something along those lines. Like, we don't have to worry because the clients can't even tell us what they want. So they're never going to be able to tell the AI what they want. I just thought it was funny. Any recommendations? For a friend? Do you live somewhere near a pre-law school? You might be able to find some there. Or you can go online. There's legal fiction. I don't know how many of them are looking for new friends, but it's a group on Facebook, and it's specifically for fiction writers who want legal advice, or not legal advice, like legal advice, but like, you know, hey, I've got a lawyer doing this. How realistic is it? Guess he didn't write yesterday. It was definitely a Monday. Oh, yeah, yesterday was a Monday. Yesterday was definitely a Monday. And then I freaked out yesterday about 1 o'clock in the afternoon ish, I think it was. So for over a year, I've been trying to get my kid a 504, right? He was diagnosed with ADHD at the end of last year. And that doctor said, get him a 504 at school, you know, to help him with this, that, and the other thing. Just special accommodations to help keep him on task and whatever. So I went to the school, and there was like 2 weeks left of school. And they told me that we're not going to be able to jam this in that fast. And I was like, yeah, I know. But I also don't want it to fall through the cracks. Over the summer, the school changed formats. It went from typical public school to an international baccalaureate public school. The staff all changed. The programs all changed. Like, everything changed around. So I was like, I really don't want him to fall through the cracks either with all these changes coming. So they said, okay, well, we'll start the 504 and then we'll finish it in September. Okay, great. So started the 504. At the end of the first meeting, they said, okay, so we're going to go ahead and deny this now because we can't have it open during the summer. And then in September, we'll start it over again. Okay. So then as September comes around and the new teacher, brand new to the staff, brand new to the school, had never met me before, obviously, and obviously didn't know my son. So I went and I said, about that 504. And she was just like, well, I would like to get to know him a little bit. I don't feel comfortable doing a 504 without knowing him. I'm like, okay, I guess I can get that. All right, fine. First progress reports come around and she says, he's doing well, but I have to constantly remind him to stay on task. And I said, yeah, that's what a 504 would have told you. So can we get the 504? And she's like, no, we don't need one because he's staying on task. And I'm like, yeah, because you're keeping him on task because he's sitting next to your desk. And she's like, yeah, but that means he doesn't need one. And I said, but I don't know if next year's teacher is going to get it. So, like, you're giving him accommodations. Those are the accommodations I want on his record. So that next year, when he's struggling again, I don't have to go through this again. No. Well, let's just give it, it's the weather and yada, yada, and let's just give it time. The second progress report comes up, parent-teacher conferences, and she says the same thing. And I say, well, I really want to get a 504. And she goes, does he even have a diagnosis? And then she's like, well, it's not going to do that much because it's not like changing the curriculum. I said, no, it's accommodations. It's things like letting him sit in the front of the class. And she goes, well, I do that anyway. And like, she's fighting me. And then I brought him to the doctor's appointment because the insurance got all fixed and whatever because this year has been. So brought him to the doctor and it was for a med check for his ADHD. And she asked him, she goes, so how's it going? How are you liking school this year? And he started crying that every day he's bad because the teacher has to yell at him because he's not following directions. And I was just like, excuse me, what are you internalizing? So I went down to the office and I was like, I don't care what the teacher says. I need that 504. Like, what? Check with University of Knoxville. I tried writing one time. It turned out bad. I got fatigued and had not enough resources that advice do have for people going through the same fate. Take care of yourself while you're writing. It's a lot easier if you feel good physically and psychologically and mentally to keep writing, because writing is actually very draining. People don't realize that because they think, oh, you're just sitting at a desk, or you're sitting in bed, or on the sofa, and on a laptop, or on a computer, and they think it means nothing. But your brain is what burns through the most energy, and it's a lot of braining to make the words happen. So just, make sure getting as much sleep as you can, eating as well as you can, taking your meds if you're on any meds, taking as good of care of yourself as you can, so that when you sit down to write, that part is already taken care of. And then it's a little bit easier to last longer while you're writing. It's not quite as draining. Make sure you're taking breaks and stretching and all of that to help reduce the fatigue. And if you're really not feeling it, like, set up a routine. And if you're really not feeling it one day, that's fine. Go through the routine. And if you're still like, nope, this isn't going to work, then take the day. But also give yourself grace. Don't take the day and then fight with yourself for not writing. Looking through the 3-act structure, suggestions on tweaking it for romance. I don't have any specific instructions for tweaking it on romance, except make sure that as you're going through the 3-act structure, you're going to have the plot go through it. But when you're building your character arcs, right, you're going to build character 1, character 2, however many people or not people, depending on your book, but however many characters there are in your book, they're each going to go through an arc. So as you're plotting that across the 3-act structure, your last character is going to be the relationship, whatever the relationship is, so that you can map out how the relationship affects the characters and how the characters are affecting the relationship. The relationship arc resembles a character arc in and of itself. Other than that, I don't have any specific how to tweak it. You have a diagnosis. That isn't how that works. You have the diagnosis, therefore he gets a 504. Yeah. You have a student advocate? No, I'm his advocate. If you need help getting the 504 in place, I am me. I appreciate that. Thank you. I know. I was like, what? And I felt immediately so bad. And the doctor was like, it's not your fault. And I'm like, I had no idea he was going through this. I asked him how his day was. And he just says, it was okay. And sometimes he tells me I got in trouble, but he never like broke down crying about how he's so bad. You know the ways you can legally get the school to act. There are federal laws around 504. Hello, I love your hair. Thank you. I just wrote a scene that I hate because so much happened that I didn't mean to happen. I wrote while depressed, but I'm struggling with deleting it because it took so much time. Select, cut, paste into a new document so it's still there and preserved. Rewrite. I try never to delete anything. Do you have to follow act structures and beats? So here's the thing. You don't have to follow any structure. If you don't want to follow a structure, you don't have to follow a structure. You can write and plot your book however you want. You don't have to follow a structure at all. There are certain beats that if you look at movies, television, other books, you will find that all of them have certain beats in common. Some, like Blake Snyder outlined this out as Save the Cat. Joseph Campbell outlined this out as Hero's Journey, right? Like they called the beats, the succession of beats, different names, and they talked about each one. But I mean, a lot of them, they even have it in common. So you're gonna have certain beats that are there because that's what makes a good story a good story. You're gonna have an inciting incident, whether you call it a catalyst or an inciting incident or something along those lines. You're gonna have something that rocks the main protagonist's world makes them realize you have to do this, because if you don't do this, you don't get what you want. Whatever that is. They may be trying to get home to their family, but on the way they got to save the world, Who knows? But like whatever it is they want, there's got to be something that rocks their world. That's the inciting incident. Every story has that. I do like following Save the Cat, because that's the structure that I prefer. But I don't follow the beat formula where it's like, by 7% of the way in, this should happen. And at 10% of the way in, this should happen. And at 5% of the, I don't follow that. I don't follow the timing of it. But I do make sure that the most important, there's 15 beats, but there's really 6 of them that are the most important beats. I make sure those are in there. I hope that all made sense. You can leave if you're going to be rude. Whoop, snipe. Those student advocates are real mean to the 504. Yeah, well, we have a meeting now on Monday with the principal, because the principal's like, okay, I will come in. And then the principal was even like, I don't think we're going to, we only have 8 weeks left of school, blah, blah, blah. By the time we meet, we're going to have 5 weeks, but the process takes 8 weeks. So we're not going to have it in place by this year. And I'm like, we're going to see, because this is already now, it keeps slipping through the cracks. 16-year-old Indian novel writer. I have doubt whether I will upload my novel in any web platform or just save it and self-publish after some years. Which is the best choice? Depends on what you want to get out of the novel. If you want to self-publish it, then I would say go ahead and self-publish it if that is your goal. If you are ready for public and near immediate feedback, go ahead and publish it to a site. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, if you're like, I think I just want to publish it like through a formal means, then I would just wait till you're ready, go through the editing phase, get it nicely formatted, and then go through the self-publishing phase. Not because it's better than the other one. It's very different. But if that's what you want, is to have a book on your shelf with your name on the spine, then I would just go for it. Putting water on gremlins. They can start the process. Yep. I need to go. All right. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. You are welcome. If you want help with holding the line, I will happily help. Why, thank you all for your support. I've been doing student advocate work for years with my kiddos and other students. I'm tired. I tell you what, I had to fight to get Piper. Well, with Piper, the fight was against her dad, because her dad was like, no, that's not a thing. Because her dad was like, just steadfast. ADHD doesn't exist. Autism doesn't exist. It's all just excuses for teachers who don't want to do their jobs and blah, 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 blah. Just, so I had to fight. But once we got her diagnosis, and once I got into the school and said, what do I do to help her? The school was like on it. Let's set up a 504. Let's do this. Let's do that. The teacher had like no problems like getting it set up. Christopher, man. Adding autism to the youngest. Yeah, I got to get the autism added to my girl. To her 504. Her teacher this year. I'm glad that my daughter's 504 was handled a couple of years ago, because her teacher this year, like when we were talking, and I said, well, I'm going to start this evaluation for this other thing. She was like, why? She's so high functioning, it doesn't matter. And I was like, If I didn't think it didn't matter, I wouldn't have brought it up. Anyway, it is about that time. So, waiting for any last second. Book cover designer, would love to work with one of you guys. Ah, David, that's so great. No, you don't want to do work. I'm sorry. All right, y'all. I have to go do work, though. So, Alex, take the day off. No writing today. Had a 504 meeting just yesterday, and they said she is so high functioning that we didn't think autism needs to be added to our plan. Yeah, like, that's the point of a 504, is to bring awareness and to make sure that whatever accommodations are there, they get reevaluated and put back into place the next year. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want these tools. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing day. Go get all the words written, and I will talk to you tomorrow, okay? Bye.